Yeah, hi there. These comments are for, I'm going to use the name you're using at my YouTube channel, Honjo. And you just had a comment. You said, the last time I took the speaking test and the IBT, I ran into some trouble because I sort of stuttered initially and the words just don't. I would say the words just didn't come out right, to match the verb tense you're using in there. Then you said, not to mention that the pronunciation was also quite terrible. Any tip on how to reduce this sort of nervousness? Yes, practice. Practice a lot. Practice recording your voice. Practice working on your pronunciation. Practice working on your grammar and your vocabulary fluency. Practice being comfortable organizing and then answering TOEFL IBT speaking tasks. So it really is. It's practice. Practice is what really helps with this. Now, the main thing is if you stutter a little bit, sometimes when we're speaking and we're talking, we may stutter at certain parts of our speech or whatever, but that's not a huge problem as long as you're not doing it constantly, throughout the speech. Now, if you're interested, you may or may not be, but I'll just throw it out there for you. My TOEFL course deals with all of these issues, and my students, even today as I speak, they are recording their practice tests at my VoxyBot discussion group. So I think you, Honjo, is if you practice a little bit and you begin recording some speaking practice tests online, and you give somebody like me, a TOEFL specialist, a chance to listen, to evaluate, and to score your speaking tasks, I can become more familiar with the kinds of problems you're having. And usually after about maybe 8 or 9 different speaking practice tests, I'm really familiar with what your problems are, and I can give you suggestions on how to overcome those things. So typically, as you practice, you can reduce your nervousness a little bit, so when you take the TOEFL test, you'll feel more confident and you will do better. So that would be probably my best advice for you. Let me tell you a little bit about my service so you can understand about how my online course works. In terms of speaking, first of all, Honjo, my second section of my online TOEFL course is pronunciation. I have 48 different videos to help you improve your pronunciation with your vowel, your consonant sounds, syllable division, grammatical word endings, word stress, sentence rhythm, intonation, and thought groups and blending. And even as you go through the pronunciation part of my course, I will give you some feedback when you complete my pronunciation pre-test and also my post-test. Now, once you feel like you've mastered and you've solved any of the pronunciation problems that you have, then you can start completing my speaking section of my course, which has about 20 to 25 different lessons to help prepare you for the independent and the integrated speaking tasks. And then you can start completing my practice test. And in conclusion, think about this. One of my students just sent me an email about 2 weeks ago, and during the TOEFL test that she took, she saw this question. And remember that I have about 20 different practice tests in the speaking that come directly from the TOEFL IBT. My question for you is, what would you do if you had this question? Compare 2 artists that you know. How about that? Think about that. Or here's another question that was on the TOEFL IBT. Compare 2 schools you attended. Now remember, it's about organization, not just about speaking. So how would you answer those 2 questions? If you want to practice answering those questions and you want to get feedback from me, go over to my website at www.bettertoeflscores.com. You can sign up and become one of my newest students.